I'd come back from a trip, and there were 3 messages on my answer machine, very insistent. Rolf, you need to call me right away. My husband's in the hospital, he's very sick. Well, I finally got the message and called her. And she was a young woman fighting for the life of her husband, who was in the hospital, who was an extreme athlete. There was nothing in his life that was normal. Everything was absolutely pushed to the brink. Ex-Navy SEAL guy, I mean, really bright. And when the doctor proposed surgery for his ulcerative colitis, the doctor said, "You'll be normal when this is done." Well, that was the worst thing you could tell this guy. He wasn't going to submit to the surgery. I went to visit him, and after we spent time talking, he was willing to submit to the surgery. It wasn't 4 months or 5 months after his surgery. He participated in his first mini triathlon. And it was really because of the love of his wife that he was given a second chance to live. This is a very lonely disease, and it's a very difficult surgery. The thought is you don't want to talk about diarrhea and bloody diarrhea and abdominal crampiness and fever and things our society has a hard time with. The problem is if you don't allow anybody into your world, and you can become reclusive. The reality of what I've learned is that people want to help and they want to support, but it requires that you open up, which is why it's so critical for the patient to get involved in something like Great Comebacks, where they can learn from other people that have been there, who have laid in that same hospital bed, had the same doubts, wondered the same things. How can I travel? How can I play sports? How can I ever have an intimate relationship again when I'm like this?
When I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, I knew absolutely nothing about it. And it was quite a shock to find out that there was this disease out there, and basically it's an incurable disease, and I would have it for the rest of my life.
I truly felt at times during the worst flare-ups that I didn't want to live, that I would hope I would die in my sleep. But when the end result is that your life will be better by having an ileostomy or a colostomy surgery, take that option.
I think of Great Comebacks as an hourglass. If you think of an hourglass, it gets narrow. A person is normal and healthy and happy, and suddenly they get an illness, and they get stuck at the narrow part of this hourglass, and they're scared, and they're angry, and they're desperate, and they're lonely. What Great Comebacks does is figuratively grab them and pull them through that narrow part of the hourglass to the bottom part, where several things happen. A person gets to engage this indomitable spirit that we all have. They get to listen. They get to take advantage of all the materials out there, all the supportive literature and all the educational materials. And mostly, they get hope from people that have been there ahead of time.
The Great Comebacks program is an incredible program for people who, like me, were not educated as to these debilitating illnesses. It has given me an opportunity to share my story with so many people.
The nicest thing about being the comeback winner is I have been able to share my story with various groups of people that have helped me in the past. And I've been able to thank them for all their support. The more people who find out that there is support out there, the better adjustment they can make to living with an ostomy.
The characteristics of a Great Comebacks winner are people that have overcome a lot physically, been through a difficult circumstance, but who have a desire to share their story with the idea of helping somebody else. And what we have found is incredible testimonies of courage and perseverance, commitment, oftentimes supported by somebody along the way, but all have come out the other end appreciative of life, thankful for what they've been able to come through, and now have a strong desire to give something back.
You can tell someone that you're going to be okay, but to actually demonstrate it, it's much more reassuring. And so that's what I try to do. When I go visit these people, I actually want them to see me out there and showing them, you know, it's okay. and no one can know. That's one of the things that I was concerned with after my surgery. You know, people are going to know that I have this. People are going to see the pouch, or they'll be able to smell it, and none of that is true. But sometimes you have to see it to believe it.
I think one of the biggest challenges we have and still have is if you don't know about the illness or the surgery, and all of a sudden it happens to you, you tend to think, I'll never be able to get over this. There's this misconception that I have to put my life on hold. What we're able to do with Great Comebacks is tell remarkable stories and offer encouragement and hope. And that's why the need for Great Comebacks continues. It's not like you ever arrive and you've done it. You got to keep doing it and slowly raise the consciousness level of the public to where people now say, yeah, no problem. I know so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so that have had it. They're doing great. And that's our goal.